Fionna and Cake Season 2 had some insanely incredible highs.
This right here is my favorite thing
You're in a coma
in the
and we're in
history
a
of
dream.
forever.
But also some pretty bland lows.
The main problem area is up here. All of this going on up here is what's causing me the most physical discomfort.
With all the seeds planted in earlier episodes, pun fully intended, did the finale live up to fan expectations? Would Finn die leading into Together Again? Would Fionna redeem herself? Would Huntress make it back to Ooh? This episode somehow managed to answer all of those questions and more. Let's get into Fionna and Cake Season 2's finale, The Bear and the Rose. The episode opens with a brief flashback highlighting Finn and Minerva's relationship. It's refreshing to see them interact together after she decided to come to Ooh in the Come Along With Me finale. Finn saves her computer form from a burger infestation, after which she casually mentions that she set him up on a date. Finn explains that he already has a girlfriend.
Kinda.
As Minerva puts it, the elusive Huntress wizard.
She's just not very social. And she lives in different worlds sometimes. Like higher planes of consciousness. And she doesn't have a phone.
This moment neatly plants the seed for one of Finn's central conflicts in the episode. In the present, we see frail old Finn on his deathbed at Minerva's base, with most of the characters in the series making an appearance here, except for Jermaine. Where the hell is Jermaine? You know, I kept seeing this promo image being thrown around showcasing Huntress looking at the sky in sorrow. We see that one of the clouds looks like Finn, implying that he's gonna die in this episode. The previous episodes have also been hinting at this, given that we saw his old man form in a dream, the same one that appears in Together Again when he dies. But we've established that this wouldn't make sense in the timeline, since Peppermint Butler is fully grown and Together Again, but here he's a teenager. So already I knew this was pure bait from the writers. But then I watched this scene of the episode, and I won't lie to you, for a few seconds I was sweating. I was still confident he would survive, but seeing him wearing what he's wearing in Together Again, my confidence went from 100% to 90%. These writers just love baiting us, man, especially with the intro teasing that Fionna and Huntress would get together, which in hindsight was such a ridiculous idea. Anyways, as many of us theorized, PB wants to preserve Finn's consciousness in a computer so that he can live forever.
Nothing wrong with that.
Classic PB and her questionable methods. I also love that Minerva is hesitant to perform this procedure. It actually shows some development from her, as the first time we saw her, she was willing to upload Finn's consciousness the second she reunited with him back in the Islands miniseries. Meanwhile, Huntress searches for a way back to Ooh. She digs her roots into the multiverse, and we finally learn the purpose of her seeds that were scattered across different universes. They basically allow her to manifest herself within those dimensions. We see the vampire world that we saw in season 1, with these vamps trying to rage bait Huntress.
You won't last long.
She then enters another universe where she floats up from the sea to see this cool looking water god. Now, I have a theory on who this guy is. This could be another version of Simon, as we can make out a crown on his head, but I actually think this is Martin, Finn's father, judging by those spikes on his shoulders. I think in this world, he put on the crown, and instead of getting ice powers, he got water powers. Maybe this could relate to Finn's fear of the ocean, and how these two got separated at sea in our universe. What do you guys think? Leave a comment, I would love to hear your thoughts. Also, please leave a like and subscribe while you're down there. I'm on track to release a huge Marceline character recap and analysis before December ends. If that sounds interesting to you, subscribe so you don't miss out. Also, be sure to check out my Fionna and Cake Season 2 playlist where I've covered the entire season. Huntress then enters the farm world dimension and...
He came back.
Crap.
Again, man, these writers love baiting us. I was convinced we wouldn't get any clear confirmation that Farmworld Finn married his world's version of Huntress, especially since he says nothing to her when they meet. My theory is that the form she takes in this universe more closely resembles Farmworld Finn's wife rather than her original design, especially since she has red hair here. Either way, it was great to finally get that confirmation. Huntress then enters the baby world dimension, climbing out of a trash can, probably because Cinnamon Bun must have puked up her seed after swallowing it. We also get a brief Jake cameo, one of his only appearances this season.
I missed him a lot today.
I love that he's fighting the Lich by bouncing on him. The final dimension she enters is what I think the Winter King's universe back in season 1. We get to see the aftermath of PB coming back to her regular self and taking care of this world's Candy Kingdom. But there's another twist. In this world, Finn is in a relationship with Slime Princess. I love that he's wielding an axe in this universe too, a callback to Farmworld Finn and what happens later in the episode. He also has a slime arm in this world.
Slime is the best part, baby.
We then cut back to Ooh to see Jake's Children by Finn. The interesting thing is, no lady. I'll get back to this later. They all question the ramifications of this controversial process of uploading Finn's consciousness into a computer, with Simon saying,
For the record, I'm firmly against this. Is this preserving him or insulting him? Insulting life itself. No offense.
cool. The scene is amazing when you remember that Minerva decided to do this out of pure selflessness to save humanity. The banana guards then announce the arrival of Finn's closest family member. We see a shadow of what looks like Jake. Of course it isn't, and it's in fact Neptune. Honestly, miss this guy. It's been a while since we last saw him. PB then says that once Finn's consciousness is uploaded, he will inhabit this new indestructible robot body that she made. Bimo cries, and you can tell that PB is coping really hard. She keeps saying,
"We're doing the right thing."
And you can see from her look that she isn't fully convinced herself. Realizing that none of her seeds landed in Ooh, and that her original body got destroyed, Huntress Wizard asks Witch Wizard for help in getting back. She breaks her loose, asking her if she can feel the heart. Despite PB ending the Heart of the Forest's life in a previous episode, Witch Wizard feels a small connection. I love this moment where Huntress pleads with her, a good beat for her arc, as she's finally learning not to rely solely on herself, even willing to work with an enemy. Solid growth, pun intended, for Witch Wizard too. They travel through the roots of the undergrowth, and we see a scene that is animated just like the cold open for episode 8. We cut back to Finn, whose body is now decomposing, his blood basically being entirely replaced by that green poison. As PB and Marceline sing a somber song, the inhabitants of Ooh weep. What's so grotesque is how Finn's body compresses like he's jello. Was not expecting that kind of body horror, to be honest. The upload begins, but then his scab starts to glow. Huntress somehow grows out of his injury, bringing along with her Witch Wizard, before she desperately tries to dig her roots into Finn's mind. Huntress cries out that she needs more life, with Bimo being the absolute goat, offering his own without hesitation. Such a cute bastard, man. Huntress then reaches out to the multiverse, gathering energy like Goku does for a spirit bomb. Somehow she manages to merge the energy of those universes into one before injecting it into Finn's body. The rest of her counterpart bodies collapse.
We're finally gonna be a family again.
This kid cannot catch a break. Finally, Finn's body is fully healed. His mind, however, isn't. As Pepbutt states,
Yeah, that soul is gone.
Minerva even says that since the upload was interrupted, it's not in the cloud. I also want to mention PB breaking into tears from fear and relief after seeing Huntress save Finn's body. She cries that she nearly crushed Finn. Marceline then quietly comforts her, saying she might need a break. We then cut to Cake chilling with the karmic worm in the undergrowth when Huntress shows up, telling her,
"I need you to get a message to Fiona."
Cake apologizes to karmic worm, saying that her girls need her, and he responds,
"It's not all or nothing, Cake."
Alright, this guy's 100% her version of Prismo. But unlike his dynamic with Jake, Cake and the karmic worm's connection is clearly developing into a romantic relationship. Now's a good time to touch on Fiona's plot. She comes back from the undergrowth and admits to Marshall and Gary that she's the one who tore the sweet spot apart. She says she'll do anything to make things right, but they just turn away from her. Fiona then overhears Fennel and Hunter talking about what happened. We learn here that Fennel is actually more hurt and upset at Fiona than Felix, saying she really thought they could have been friends.
But she just wanted him back.
I don't know. Some things might not be so black and white.
This is sort of echoed in the next scene. Fiona meets with Felix and says to him that she's been trying to get him for the wrong reasons, trying to force herself to have a happy ending.
But I don't think we're good for each other.
You sure?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And so, Fiona says goodbye to him. Just then, Cake shows up telling her that Finn needs her. Huntress says she needs to try to get into his mind, just like they had done back in episode 6. She arrives in Finn's imagination land, a callback to the episode Rainy Day Daydream. We see the fancy bug from that episode, as well as that annoying blue bastard. The bug tells her to imagine herself in Finn's mind, and after running for a bit, she's transported into it. This time, the TV is nothing but static, and Finn is nowhere to be found. I forgot to mention in episode 6 how his mind is portrayed here. The fact that it's so empty and hollow, with some cracks on the walls, really puts into perspective his current mindset. After Jake died, a lot of his head became empty.
Just been feeling kinda gray is all. Like my inside voice has been kinda quiet lately. Not a lot of instructions forthcoming, you know?
Fiona then spots this blank-faced poster and tears it off, revealing a tunnel, a clear reference to Shawshank Redemption. Fiona follows along, and we get several callbacks to previous episodes in the original series. This shot is a reference to the episode Dentist. She then enters through this pillow tunnel, directly taken from the episode Pahoy. Then she goes through these cramped and creepy corridors, a reference to the episode All Your Fault, as Finn and Jake explore the dark passages of the Lemon Castle. After this, we briefly see a shot very similar to the season 2 episode Belly of the Beast. Then Fiona climbs past this dungeon, the same one in which Fern trapped Finn in the episode 3 buckets. This is the only scene I don't fully recognize. Let me know down below what/if this is from an episode in the original series, or this is just a cool way to show a bridge between Finn's head and his heart. She then falls down a well, which is another reference to the episode Dentist, then through the Lich's lair, before eventually landing in this library area. This is Finn's heart. Now, say what you will about this episode, the environmental storytelling is amazing. While all of these small callbacks could be chalked up to nostalgia, nostalgia, I think most of them are purposeful. These areas that Fiona goes through are the places that cost Finn a lot of pain and trauma. Again, not all of them. This small scene shows that somewhere deep down, Finn might remember the Pillow World, where he grew up and had an entire family before dying. This area shows that Finn still has a lot of deep regret and sorrow for his conflict with Fern. Man, someone needs to tell him that Fern is still alive. And we know the Lich traumatized him immensely too, especially after what he did with Billy. Oh yeah, and he just hated going to the dentist. As Fiona goes to the lower level, we can spot a picture of Jake.
I missed him a lot today.
And Fiona manages to find a hidden crawl space beneath this rug. She enters and we see some of Finn's most treasured possessions. The Finn sword, the teddy bear he held onto after Martin saved him as a baby, meatloaf his favorite dish, and the tusk flute from Flute Spell, the episode that began Finn and Huntress's romance. This highlights how much he values Huntress. Most heartbreaking of all though is a locked chest filled with items belonging to Finn and Jake, showcasing how he sealed away everything that once brought him joy after Jake's death. The fact that all of this is hidden in a crawl space illustrates how deeply grief can affect you, to the point where you bury your passions and the things you love deep down. It's no wonder his head looks so empty. We then get a very interesting revelation. Fiona finds Finn in this chest, asking him if he wants to be alone, but he says no. That's when she realizes
You were the cut voice.
she is referring to episode 8, when she abruptly told Orbo that Finn was the one who killed Cosmic Owl.
I know it's messed up, but I just got a weird feeling. Like a gut voice telling me it was the right thing to do.
Now, as much as I made jokes about this in my breakdown, I had a feeling there was more to this. This reveal suggests that Finn was either trying to punish himself or just trying to end the pain he's carried since Jake's death.
There's a lot of people waiting for you up there.
Then why do I feel so dump trucks? No one loves me like Jake.
Huntress loves you.
She said that?
Not with words.
This gives new meaning to that scene in the last episode when he asked Huntress to move in with him. Deep down, there was a part of him that doubted his relationship with her. We then get a full heart-to-heart scene between the two of them, something I was deeply hoping to see when the trailer for this season came out. I'm not even joking, go watch my breakdowns where I mentioned this. I needed to see this more than anything. Fiona tells Finn that despite Huntress's reserved emotions, she's just as afraid as the two of them, referencing what Fiona saw in the previous episode. Huntress taught her the importance of showing your friends you care and not just saying it, and that sometimes Fiona needs to just stop trying to do everything herself. After hearing Fiona's words, Finn grabs her hand and his face in his headspace finally emerges and breaks through. He finally comes back to life, and without hesitation, Huntress pulls him in for a kiss. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, seeing this warmed my heart so much. Seeing my boy Finn finally get his happy ending after years of suffering and heartache, as well as Huntress finally not running away from her feelings, made me feel so fuzzy inside. Also, come on man, he pulled a total baddie. Everyone cheers, with PB crying even harder, before Marcy quickly gives Peppermint Butler her crown, foreshadowing the events of Together Again, where he becomes the princess of the Candy Kingdom. What I find interesting is that we briefly see Lady Rainicorn flying past in the sky. I always wondered where she was during the series and how she dealt with Jake's death. Given that she wasn't in the room when Finn was dying and only her kids were, why do I feel like she's also dead? And this is like her spirit form or something. I honestly don't know and I need some clarification. I would love to hear your thoughts down below regarding this. In the final few scenes, we see Cake and Mcron make up and decide to stay friends. A good end to their plot. Fiona tries to make an apology cake for Gary. He says it's not enough for what she did, but at the same time deeply touched since no one has made food for him in a long time. This echoes the memory of his Fiona saw in the last episode. She breaks down and apologizes again to both of them, and they forgive her pretty quickly. A bit too quickly if you ask me, which is why I can totally agree with the criticism that their plot was definitely rushed. In the montage scene, she and Fennel supposedly make up, and we see the rest of the group fixing up the sweet spot. What's a bit strange to me is that we still don't get a full answer as to why Prismo was glitching and cannot grant wishes anymore. I've heard a lot of people say that this is because of Jake dying, and I mean, these people clearly did not watch season 1. Even though we see him deeply depressed in those scenes, he was still able to grant wishes. What I really love is Scarab giving him a reassuring pat on the shoulder over the Cosmic Owl's death. Great character growth for him from the last season. I have to mention though, why didn't the Cosmic Owl, after being resurrected, go to Prismo? My only guess is that he's now on the run from Orbo ever since he quit his job, and going to Prismo's would just get him caught. Still, I would have loved to have seen a small scene where Prismo realizes he's alive, like Cosmic Owl sent him a cosmic note or something. It would have tied everything neatly for Prismo. Huntress teaches a class to Wizard students as well as the Green Wizards, telling them that they will all share the heart. Finn also gets an upgrade from Neptune, getting an axe on his robot arm.
Axe mod. It came to me in a dream.
A cute nod that shows how farm-old Finn continues to affect him. We then get this amazing line from the Spirit Warrior.
The straight line teaches the curve to bend.
This directly echoes one of his very first lines in the original series.
Huntress Wizard only sees straight ahead.
Spirit Warrior then sees that Fionna fangirl role-playing in the forest and walks after her, implying that she will be his next prodigy. We also get to see Marshall Lee finally jamming with Simone. In the final scene, Fionna comes across this sign and realizes what Ellis's dream meant.
Go beyond the end of the peach.
And so, our gang now has an entire new world to explore outside their city. I have to mention how much I love the feel-good ambient music that plays here. Adventure Time just never misses with its soundtrack, but I'd argue it might not be as feel-good as you might think. See, Fionna's world doesn't have a giant hole unlike our universe, which was caused by the Mushroom War. Now, I wouldn't think much of this if we didn't see something shimmering in the distance. This is 100% a catalyst comet that might be on its way to change everything as we know it, for better or for worse. Overall, I can safely say I loved this episode. This is easily in the top 3 for me. I mean, you guys know this. I'm much more interested in the mystical and magical plot involving Huntress than I am in Fionna's plot. That being said, I still feel the human plot's resolution was rushed. Fionna being forgiven was a rapid fire. While the characters may have forgiven her, I don't think the audience has really been given the time to do the same. I don't think she's fully redeemed yet, but her actions in helping Finn do feel like the first step in that process. As I said, I wanted that to happen so badly this season, so honestly no complaints from me on that end. Let me just briefly address my thoughts on the way Fionna's character was handled this season. I detest this idea people keep throwing around that disliking Fionna this season somehow means you don't appreciate complex female characters, and I'm honestly shocked by this ridiculous claim. I'm just gonna say it here, Fionna deserved so much better on the writing end. She deserved better than such a boring romance plot that made her so unlikable that at the end, her being forgiven felt so unearned. As a writer, I think it's crucial to strike the right balance between making a main character likable and letting them be flawed. When the first episode aired, I expected we'd get more backstory on Fionna, and as her mistakes piled up, I assumed we'd see scenes that better contextualized why she is the way she is, but all we got was that scene in episode 9 showing that she was left at an animal shelter. It's a great scene, but in my opinion, it isn't enough to justify or soften the impact of her actions throughout the season. Just like we saw Huntress's backstory revealed gradually and organically, Fionna should have gotten the same treatment. This would have made her a complex character. After all, she's the main character. Instead, we got some episodes and moments that really felt like filler and time wasting. There's a reason people feel more connected to Huntress than Fionna. So please, you guys have got to stop reducing any sort of valid criticism to this cringy and invalid argument. Fionna deserved better than a love triangle plot, and I will die on this hill. Usually, I don't like to mention comments, but when I see people spreading this kind of inaccurate bullshit and it gets likes, it creates a vibe on my channel that I don't want to encourage. This is the internet, so people will read one comment and say,
"Fuck research, I must start believing shit."
I don't have an issue with morally messy or frustrating characters. I've made full breakdowns on Betty and PB before, and have both praised and critiqued them. My problem here is the lack of narrative groundwork, and not Fionna being flawed. At the end of the day, this is the internet filled with the most loathsome and hateful people in the world who have nothing going on in their lives, so they resort to just stirring shit on the internet. That said, to those who respectfully disagree and share their own perspectives, I genuinely appreciate it. I love reading new insights. I'll also admit that I can get pretty passionate about my opinions, and it really seems like I'm shitting on you for your opinion. I personally loathe love triangle plots, but liking them says nothing about who you are as a person. Too often, people treat differing opinions as personal attacks when they really aren't. That mindset just doesn't make sense to me. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the post-credit scene teasing season 3. At first, I really thought we were gonna see Marshall's birth dad, but instead, we see Hunson Abadir. I assume it is the one from our universe. I think they might be cooking up some new lore related to the Nightosphere, and that leaves me a bit excited. Overall, if I had to give a number score to Fionna and Cake season 2, I would give it a 7.5, maybe an 8. I'm torn between a 7.5 and 8, because as I said, this season was poorly paced and some plots were definitely rushed, but overall, I still really enjoyed the ending. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. As I said, Marceline's character analysis is on the way, and I guarantee you won't want to miss it. Please check out my Fionna and Cake season 2 playlist where I analyzed every episode as they came out. You guys can see what I got wrong and what I got right. Consider joining my Patreon if you want to support me further. Follow all my socials down below, and I want to thank you for watching.